everyone. I'm Selena Hill, and this is the new norm on Black Enterprise, sponsored by Cadillac, where I speak to dynamic leaders, entrepreneurs, and public figures about their latest projects and the impact they're making in today's world. Today, I have the privilege to speak with Miss Karen Jackson, the founder of Sisters Network Inc., which is celebrating its 30th anniversary of sisterhood, survivorship, and empowering of Black women in the fight against breast cancer. Miss Jackson, thank you so much for joining Black Enterprise today.
It's my pleasure.
Now, Miss Jackson, and I know you just got on me because I'm not wearing my pink. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and I should be wearing it, but you have on your pink, and you've just been doing so much work in this space. So I want to start by asking you to tell us more about your organization and what inspires you to do what you do.
Well, it's when you look around and you see what's going on in your community and you're type of person that wants to be involved, you can find yourself thinking of what are the things you can do as an individual and collectively with others to make a difference. If that's your mindset, there's plenty to do out there. But my chosen area of specialty has been breast cancer because I am a survivor. So I have the experiences of going through my own personal journey. So I'm able to, connect with ladies. I know what they feel, I know how I felt. And the journey is a better journey when you have someone to share it with and learn from.
Miss Jackson, can you tell us about your journey and how you were able to survive and stay in remission for so long?
Well, I was diagnosed in 93. And so at that time, I can just tell you that our community was not ready to hear anything about breast cancer. And the climate in the medical field was blaming Black women for all the things that were wrong with us in getting diagnosed with breast cancer. And I was feeling that there was something wrong with blaming a community on the diagnosis. And what I could see is that it wasn't our fault. A lot of things were happening. And when I was diagnosed myself, I was very fortunate that I had a daughter who researched what I needed to find a doctor, the medical center, because you need to be with a cancer center. So I didn't even know myself as an individual what I needed. So I was able to have a good diagnosis because I found it early enough, stage two. But it's better to find it at 0 and 1. And I actually didn't think that I would make 5 years. So, thinking about my own personal diagnosis, I went into type of mode of what can I do? Where should I do it? What do I need to do to make things better, not only for myself, but for the community? I just wanted to be involved and make my life more purposeful if I only had 5 more years, to live. And so that gives you an idea how when you hear you have cancer, it affects people differently, but first, most ladies, you're just frightened. And once you can get through that, then you can learn what you need to know to survive. And that was the mode that I was in. Learn what I need to know, not just accept everything that's said about your diagnosis. Start researching and learning for yourself. And the more I knew, the more I needed sisterhood. I needed to be surrounded by other women and to learn and grow together.
Miss Karen, what is it that Black women in particular need to know about breast cancer?
Well, the first thing we need to know is that the breast cancer is the most fatal cancer for African American women or Black women. And if you know that ahead of time, that gives you the opportunity to, as we say, make your health a top priority because breast cancer is survivable if you find it early enough, if you have the proper cancer center, not just a hospital. a cancer center and have a oncologist that cares. Those things are essential to have longevity in breast cancer.
Miss Jackson, if you can tell us more about your organization and how it empowers Black women.
Well, when I started Sisters Network in 94, we started with no money, and I was learning about the system itself myself. And what I was finding is that when it comes to programs, when it comes to the education materials that were available, we had to start making them so that we had materials that we could understand. We didn't need to have the medical jargon to tell us about our diagnosis. We needed to have it interpreted so that we know exactly what was going on. Also, the sisterhood gives you that feeling of support, that someone's there that cares about you, and we want to make sure that our membership learns what they need to know in order to help themselves and to help the community. So education is one of our uh, prime things that we do for the women. Make sure they're in a position to learn and find out the latest, greatest of whatever is going on in the cancer field because it's constantly changing and you need to keep up.
In addition to Sisters Network, I understand you also have a book. Can you tell us more about the book that you wrote?
Well, it chronicles my journey and the journey of Sisters Network because it's simultaneous. Everything was happening at the same time. So as I learned, sisters learn, and as I was able to attract the experts in the field, that helped me direct where we're going in the future. And my book really is a personal journey, and it tells about the things that were happening when we started, and I just finished the book 2 years ago, so it's covered most of the time of the 30 years, not quite 30, but it covered a lot of the time. And so it tells mainly that 30 years ago, women were told to start mammograms at 40. 30 years later, that's the same song that the medical field is talking about. It's not early enough for us. I say that in the book because we need to get our baseline mammogram and ultrasound earlier because it's killing us.
What's the cause for the disparity between the rate of Black women dying from breast cancer versus white women?
Well, it shows that we get the diagnosis earlier and that some of the types of breast cancer are more aggressive. So if you start at the same time at 40 and you get diagnosed 28, 29, you're not going to make it. So you need to have a baseline to make sure when you start out that there's nothing going on. And then you have the disparities that exist just like it does in our real life, our everyday life. There's things that we don't get the best of because either we don't know or it's not offered. It's the same thing in the medical field. You have to have your own idea of what you need by your research, by an organization like Sisters that can help you understand what you should be looking for, where you should go. If you live in a certain areas like in Louisiana, I hate to point it out, but if you have breast cancer or cancer in Louisiana, there's not specialty hospitals for that. They have hospitals, but they're not the greatest or the best. So you need to go somewhere other than there. That's just an example because I live in Texas, and Texas, fortunately, has some of the best medical centers in the country.
Miss Karen, before we begin to wrap the conversation, I wanted to also talk about some of the big events that Sisters Network has coming up, and also congratulate you for your billboard in Times Square. If you want to talk about that.
Well, that was a brainchild of my uh, marketing and a media person that we need something big and splash to uh, make it exciting for our 30th anniversary and to kick off October 1st as Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And it was so exciting. It's going to be shown on our media. And then we had people from all over who wanted to take pictures and get involved. So I mean, from out of the country that were there, so it was exciting. And we have coming up this coming weekend, October the 4th through the 6th, our summit. And we've been doing summits and conferences since 1999. And it's directed to education, the support, and the sisterhood so women can come together and learn together. And the bonding that happens during our conference and through our chapters, our affiliate chapters across the country, is just the best thing for anyone. It's like having your own personal sister who cares about you, who's learning what you should know and what she should know. And it just helps you have a better, happier journey.
Is there anything else that you would like to add?
Well, I'd like to add that we're moving into the advocacy component that really is so important because we've been doing the work and finding out the keeping up with the education part and giving the support. But we need to start changing some of the laws that govern the industry itself, like not getting your mammogram until age 40. That has to change in order for us to beat breast cancer.
Yes, it does. Miss Jackson, let all of our viewers know how they can find Sisters Network and support you through donations or whatever it is that you need.
You can donate as an individual or corporation, and we also accept money from nonprofit organizations. You can reach us at sistersnetworkinc.org. You can go on there. We have a donation button, and you can either send a check, you can do credit card. We have all the systems available for receiving donations, and we're very fortunate because women and just people in general who are aware that we exist, they do donate, and we are doing very well.
Thank you so much, Miss Jackson, for your time today and the work you're doing in the fight for Black women fighting against breast cancer. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.